Hello again. I took a bit of a break during the holidays, so it's been a little bit of time since my last video, but be assured I've been working tirelessly to make this new video the best it can possibly be. Unfortunate. Let me try again. It won't take that long. Okay, one more. Okay, I'll admit it. I've been procrastinating a lot lately with my newest gaming addiction, which is what I want to talk about today. I've always been a somewhat distant fan of roguelikes, always appreciating them from a distance, seldomly engaging with the genre. And not for a lack of interest necessarily, roguelikes offer some insane variety and experiences, but I've always been more drawn to multiplayer games or games with more of an emphasis in the narrative. However, I do like dabbling with every type of game, and I've witnessed the rise of a particular type of roguelite. Though, no, I've not played Balatro yet, so I cannot tell if it was robbed in the Game Awards.
Astrobot!
It's libtard propaganda, it's Joe Biden's fault.
No, today I want to talk about a different kind of card game. Wildfrost has been a very pleasant surprise for me. It pretty much took over my whole December, and I continue to rack up the hours. But what exactly is Wildfrost? Well, it's a tactical roguelike deck builder where you'll venture through the inhospitable and dangerous frozen tundra, gathering strong cards and allies in the hopes that you'll be the one to banish the eternal winter. Though in practice it's far less bleak. I honestly only discovered this game once it was added to Game Pass. The presentation won me over, so I decided to try it out without expecting much, and oh boy. The runs are fun and snappy, it has depth while remaining easy to get into, the presentation, again, so charming, the animation on every attack, every card played, every victory. I don't know, it gives off a cozy feeling almost, even if you're fighting for your life in every battle. You'll begin every run on your town's node dwell, comprised of various buildings storing unlockable content or information. There's also the daily voyage mode, a daily generated run with specific cards and modifiers that includes a leaderboard. If you're the type to compete for the highest scores, this is right up your alley. Though, as a fresh new player, you'll be given an option between 3 random starting characters, and it's straight on to battling. The game does a pretty good job instructing you throughout your starting run. You'll have your leader and companions who are played on the 2-lane board at the top. Then you'll have your regular item cards on the deck at the bottom. Every character card will have a counter on the bottom, which will tick down every passing turn. When it reaches 0, the card will unleash their attack. Some cards have a special ability described in the card itself. As for the items, every single card used will be 1 turn, so choose wisely. You'll see a bell at the bottom right counting down with each passing turn. Once it reaches 0, you'll be able to ring it and get a new hand without wasting your turn. However, if you're impatient or run out of useful cards, you can choose to ring it before it gets to 0, however, it will consume that turn. Once placed on the field, your companion and leader cards can be freely moved across the field without any turn restrictions. Characters will typically prioritize the front enemies on the same lane they're on when they're attacking, unless there are no cards occupying that lane. But of course, not every card will behave the same, and just like with life, variety is the essence of Wildfrost. As a roguelike, trial and error are part of the experience, sometimes more error than anything, but every run will represent new opportunities to build a different team, a different deck, to try a new strategy, especially as you continue to unlock more and more cards. Which, if you're familiarized with Slay the Spire or other roguelike deck builders, it isn't going to sound like anything new, but the game is just so snappy, and the battles, as you have seen, are tactical RPG battles with the whole moving units around. There are a lot of cards in this game, but not to the point where it becomes overwhelming. And every single card that you have at your disposal can be used either on an enemy or an ally, which opens up so many cool scenarios. Oh, you have an item that reduces the amount of turns a character needs to attack? No problem, I'll use it on an enemy so it strikes an ally who gains damage every time they're hit sooner, so I get it on the very next turn. Oh, an ally gives me items that I can use to activate other items every time it gets hit? Well, I guess I could hit it myself so I can get the item I need to get these other items to work. Or in this situation, my junk was just doing more damage than my hammer. I honestly have forgotten about this various times, and on hindsight I'm like, oh, I could have done that instead. Guess I'm doing another run. Which is what has kept me glued to my seat with this game, the fact I could just do a little bit better. Speaking about runs, after your first battle you'll encounter a journal page belonging to an old adventurer who sadly didn't make it. This is the way you'll get to know more about the lore, which I think it's pretty non-intrusive and it fits the game perfectly. If you're interested to know more about the lore, then you can stop and read the pages. If not, you can just collect them and ignore them. Besides the pages, there are other events and stops in your path, which will split into two, forcing you to pick one way. It'll be up to you to decide which way benefits you the most. You can expect to find chests containing 3 items, you'll have to choose one of them. Frozen travelers, you'll be able to break them free and have them join your group. You'll also have to choose one. Blink snail caves that'll reward you with gold. The woolly snail, which is where you want to spend your gold, and charm dispensers that'll give you a random charm that you can add to any card to either modify their stats or give them an extra effect. They're pretty fun to mess around with, change or enable certain playstyles, and you'll be able to unlock more by completing challenges. And just like charms, you'll be able to unlock more map events that will assist you on your run. Should you select them, of course. We have the Muncher, he'll munch any useless cards taking space in your deck. The Shade Sculpture, he'll duplicate any useful cards you want to have more of. The Charm Merchant, pretty self-explanatory, she'll sell you charms on a sale and random cards with a charm attached to it. And last but not least, the Gnome Traveler. He'll have 3 random offerings, 2 of them bundled with junk, but if the cards are good enough, I won't mind adding some useful items for a useless one. Did I already mention how everything is so cute and pretty? I love the way the game integrates the narrative to the roguelike genre too. Basically, just like the first traveler who you found the journal page of, every failed run will be yet another traveler who succumbs to the dreaded eternal winter. And so the journal will be passed to the next traveler, and to the next one, and to the next one, and well, maybe you won't fail as much as I have. But if you do, you'll have the chance to stumble upon an injured companion from the last run, assuming you didn't get all of them killed. After some failing or success, if you're really good at the game, your options will broaden with 2 additional tribes, each having their own lore, items, and companions. I actually beat my first run with the Shade Mancers, who use summons and sacrifices as part of their gameplay. I actually haven't won a run ever since. But when all of your effort finally pays off, being face to face with the Eye of the Storm and somehow winning, you'll only find yourself becoming what you tried to destroy.
Oh my god!
Yes, after beating the final boss ones, your winning team will take their place. So if you had a very OP comp, well, it might be a bit of a struggle. I believe there is a true final boss to this game, but despite my hours, I'm nowhere near close to finding it. Regardless, I'll have a blast getting there, and I'm sure you will too if you decide to give it a chance. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta run to get back to... Okay, one more run.